Sometimes you hit the rocks.
In this follow-up, I'm digging into even more characters. Let's get into it. For little Carmine, going up against Johnny Sack.
You know, it's my understanding, Carmine, that Johnny's still sore about that. That's why I appreciate your support.
And we all assumed to be Johnny because the son's down in Miami at the discos and whatnot.
How to get to this?
I think they all expected that little Carmine would stay down in Miami with the discos and the whatnot, because that was probably what he preferred doing. I think one of the main reasons that he decided to sort of go up against Johnny Sack was because he felt insulted and disrespected.
Retaliation, counterattacks.
He eventually steps back, but not before a lot of chaos.
Talk about earners. How about fat Dom Gamiello? He's MIA. A lot of people are concerned for his well-being.
There they are. The pirates of Brashu. The brigands of Brasho.
Hey, Dom.
Gaiman Canarsi. I appreciate the role, as you said.
Fat Dom Gamiello. Perhaps he should have gone straight to Metuchen, to his daughter, instead of stopping at Satriali's. This was soon after Vito was killed, and Dom just couldn't help himself. He had to start with the Vito jokes, which pretty soon escalates to Dom making a joke about Carlo and Vito together. And that was a bridge too far.
A pool cue. I wonder if it was chalked.
Very funny, Dom. Very cute.
My mistake. Carlo's lipstick was on Vito's card.
Your brother Billy, whatever happened there?
All right, then.
Whatever happened there?
Sorry about that. We're on our way to your place, and Billy sees you drive by.
Well, what happened was, Billy teams up with his older brother and decides to whack Angelo while he's driving home from the store. Once Tony B finds out about this, it's game over for Billy, and it could have been game over for Phil, too. I imagine that Billy mostly goes along with whatever Phil wants him to do, so I suppose you could say some of it is Phil's responsibility, but once Billy got all tied up with this, things weren't going to end well for him either.
God rest his soul, man.
Johnny Sack? His worst decision? Letting his pride and temper dictate major decisions.
Never enough body count for Lorraine.
Maserati. Gotta draw attention, no? Well, let's set you back about,
99 and change.
you're spending like you're already on the throne.
Had a good year?
When Carmine died and you took over, people felt you changed. Became a little trigger happy, maybe? A hothead?
Though even before Carmine Sr. died, we started to see a more hothead version of Johnny Sack after he found out about the Ginny Sack joke.
Donnie, right?
Tony Blundetto.
How can I help you?
I'm in.
Hit on Joey Peeps. He escalates tension, which then leads eventually to him killing Billy Leotardo.
Come on, you gonna go or what?
Come on.
Which ultimately seals his own fate and forces Tony to have to take him out. But even before that...
So, Hannah, we open in 3 days, huh?
Also a bad move that played a role in setting him up for this.
You mentioned you might need someone to run the swag airbag.
What happened with the massage parlor? It's hard doing business with strangers.
Ooh, young and tall and tanned and lovely.
Doc Santoro. I'd say his worst decision, overreaching by taking more than the taste that Phil offered.
Nice gravy, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, your taste.
How's Patricia? You mind?
Go ahead.
Phil gave Doc his taste, but Doc got greedy and wanted more. Gerry Torciano.
Important things, we all work together. Whoever winds up in the driver's seat.
Gerry and his guys went after Hesh and his son-in-law Eli. They thought that he was some random Shylock, and they ended up sending Eli to the hospital.
This whole thing was a complete misunderstanding.
Yeah, to see you like, kid, I had any idea he was with you, I would have never.
Not the brightest crayon in the box. I think we can see that pretty well early on. No more Butchie. In terms of the very end of the series, when Butchie essentially takes over, now that Phil's gone into hiding, it's hard to say whether or not he made good or bad decisions because we don't know what actually happens at the end. So I just wanted to put that out there.
As far as I'm concerned, this is like 9/11. Tony wanted our attention? Fine. He got our attention. Now we wipe him off the planet.
She says in the finale that he agrees that it's gone too far and that Phil has changed. It's funny, that reminds me of what people said about Johnny Sack. The end of the prior season, 6A, Butchie was ready to go full speed ahead in taking out the boss of the DiMeo family, Tony Soprano. Even though Phil said, whack a boss, I won't do that. I'm old school. Butchie said, so, it's been done before. Butchie was the one who didn't want to compromise here.
I can't go there. Well, you do what you gotta do.
So, Angelo had an idea.
His worst decision wasn't directly his, but his involvement, his participation in these sit-downs, and then Tony Soprano's loose lips, or rather, his lying lips, about it being Angelo's idea for the power-sharing situation.
You're close to John. You have any ideas?
One thought I had in the interest of harmony, maybe there could be a power sharing situation.
This could get ugly. There's a lot of potential for bloodshed.
Carmine Lupertazzi Sr. failed to clarify the line of succession.
Would they resod that drain?
But I'm not going no place.
Healthy as a fucking rhino, this guy.
It was his deathbed.
I should have written those words down.
Maybe you should have, John, because they don't mean anything anymore. You understand what I'm saying?
Lorraine Calluzzo? She ignored Phil's warnings. After being threatened, she continued.
My mother said that might happen. She wouldn't even let the maggots get on Carmine before he's telling me to kick up direct to him.
She was literally told, next time, there will be no next time. And there wasn't.
You were warned, Lorraine. The money goes up to John.
Do you know a guy named Coco? Worst decision? I'd say that's easily harassing Meadow Soprano.
Why?
You're Tony Soprano's kid, right?
Yeah.
Small world running into you like this, huh? Yeah, you got a little cream on your mouth there, sweetie. Be happy to add to it.
He crossed a deeply personal line, and it led to Tony nearly beating him to death.
Is Leotardo here? Because I won't stay in the same room with that man.
I haven't seen him.
Not stepping up to officially lead the Lupertazzi family and failing to manage his relationship with Phil Leotardo at the same time was not going to lead to anything good for Rusty.
Rusty could have been boss. He should have been. But he didn't want the responsibility.
By staying passive, he created space for instability, and Phil eventually had him taken out with Tony's help.
Zam. Eastern Parkway.
Eastern Parkway.
Now for Burt Gervasi, I'd say his worst decision is trying to recruit Silvio to betray Tony Soprano. He misjudged Silvio's loyalty, big time.
Burt wasn't speaking for just himself. Guys are getting squeezed hard to sway them towards new management.
I thought you'd be a part of it.
And he got an answer.
Perhaps that's because many other DiMeo family members aren't quite so loyal themselves.
I talked to some of the guys about your misgivings.
Yeah?
I'd like to get back in the game.
Feech La Manna's worst decision? Stepping on everyone's toes after getting out of prison. He tried to reassert his dominance like it was still the old days.
Well, you don't step on anybody's toes.
Me?
He couldn't adapt to the new power structure, and Tony had him set up for a parole violation because of it.
I'm sorry if I offended you. Gotta remember, Tony, I still think he is a kid.
Talk to him on the phone, Butchie.
Well, I just talked to him in person. He ain't seeing nobody.
But we just talked about this.
Well, cooler heads prevailed.
If only Phil had just remained a house instead of turning back into human form and going out to the gas station.
Tell the goddamn pharmacist to call Dr. Iaconis. I should get a 60-day supply of the Plavix.
Which character do you think made the most unforgivable mistake? Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for part 3.